Well, hey YouTube, it's Petey Two Finger, and I'm here with a handy tip for you electronic types. This is a reverse polarity cable adapter. So this operates when you have a device, let's say it's 12 volts, and it calls for a negative center terminal connection. Typically, 12 volts is positive center. Every once in a while, you'll run into times when it's non-traditional. More often than not, the 9-volt adapters that we see are center hot. And for us guitar players, we're looking for the Boss standard, which is a center negative. So this will accomplish that. I don't recommend this for a permanent installation. When I use these RevPol cable connectors is when I bought something from Goodwill or I found something garbage picking, I bring it home and I want to quickly test it. And then it's like, oh, I don't have the right power supply. I've got the right power supply. Like let's say it's 12 volt 700 milliamp. Well, I've got a 12 volt 1000 milliamp or 1 amp. And you know, having the milliamps be 300 more or a third of an amp more is okay because the device, whatever it is, it's not going to explode. It's just going to take 700 milliamps and it's going to leave the additional 3 back on the circuit. So, in essence, it's going to put less of a strain on the power supply. Let's say I have a 700 milliamp 12 volt DC device and I only have a 500 milliamp power supply. Well, the device, it wants to see that extra 200 milliamps. It's going to be demanding that, and it's going to put a strain on the power supply. Our power supply is going to get hot, so it's not a good idea to go under. And when we're dealing with voltage, let's say it's a 9-volt device and we have a 24-volt adapter, certainly you're risking catastrophic failure. You're going to blow something up, you're going to release the magic smoke, you're going to wish you didn't. But in the case of a reverse polarity adapter, all you're doing is flip-flopping the positive and the negative. So I put this together. It's a DC 2.1 mil jack that I've removed from some old piece of gear. And then it's a accompanying cable. Really, when I found this, it was like this. It was these two hooked up, and they did not flip the polarity. So I can't imagine what I had used this for. Extending. Perhaps I had a source that terminated in a male, and then I had another double male cable, something for a homemade rig. In essence, I don't have many of these jacks. This is an internal where the threads are internal. I have a lot where the external thread. And I'm going to be using this. So I chopped this off. I had this sitting here and I thought, you know what, I'm going to make a reverse polarity cable. And how you do that is when you hook it up, when you solder it, you flip-flop the wires. So if I were to test this, we come up with our beep beep cont test. Beep beep cont. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go on the outside, and here I'm going to go on the inside. So as you see, it's wired backwards. So where this comes in handy is if you have let's say it's a radio you garbage picked and you want to test it real quick. I tend to chop the power supply cables often. They're cut, and then I'll flip flop as needed, or extend them, or cut them to size. I'm not one to worry about silly stuff like connectors. So having this enables me to grab any appropriate voltage, appropriate milliamp, and then when you run into that situation where, oh my goodness, it's the polarity split, but you don't feel like getting out the tools, cutting stripping, cleaning, soldering, putting the shrink boot on it, all that, having a tester to double check your work. No, it takes 15 minutes to go through that process for me. I'm sure there's plenty of people that can do it fast, ripping them off with their teeth. You know, I'm eating jerky and on meth, you know, cold red Mountain Dew. So that's not my style. I take it easy and put some music on, you know, get high on my own farts a little bit, and then maybe think about doing the work. So something like this comes in handy. It's a reverse polarity cable. I hope you understand the concept. It's the same size connector. You can, the other one that I need to make, I just don't have the stuff here. There's always that one where it won't go in. If you know what I'm talking about, there's a DC connector where the inner, the stinger is large. And when you have that, it's a pain in the neck. And that's for a higher voltage. It's higher amperage and higher voltage connector. And sometimes I need to bypass that. So it would be nice to have an adapter that had that guy that would fit the larger inner diameter, 2.5 millimeter inner diameter, and then a standard 2.1 millimeter diameter female, so I can run it. Anyway, that's the reverse polarity adapter. I'm gonna make a large to small one. That's on my list. I've got what's called the DC 2.1 mil bag, and it's a big bag. It's bigger than this, and it's full of male and female DC 2.1 mil connectors. Then there's some 2.5 males. I don't think I have many 2.5 female. So yeah, I need to figure that out. Anyway, I hope that was helpful. This is something, I have a couple of these laying around the house. I like to mark them clearly with a flag because if I were to all of a sudden, for whatever reason, employ this and then you're slamming something with hard 12 volts that's reverse polarity, might not be good. So err with caution and mark it clearly, and good luck. Peace. See ya.